So let's talk about a second way that we can make our work more accessible to families. And I want to talk about the actual feedback session with parents. Now, this session, no matter how amazing our report is, or even how familiar families are with their child's profile, these sessions can be very overwhelming and emotionally charged. We're talking about the being that they care most for in the world. It is a lot to process. So, as in the previous video, one thing we can do is make our reports very accessible and make that summary really easy to read and understand. But during this feedback meeting, we can also use a tool to record our meeting and summarize our conversation. So what I'll do at the beginning of a meeting is tell parents, I have a HIPAA-compliant platform that can record our conversation and create a summary of what we've talked about. And then I can share that with you afterwards. And is that okay with you if I record our session? And hands down, the most common response I get is, oh, yes, please. Because then that just takes a load off of, I have to understand everything right now. I'm going to get a summary later. So here's the tool that I use to do this. This is Notes app. And Notes app is a really cool platform because it records conversations, and then you can tell it how you want it to summarize them. So it gives you some examples of, different kinds of medical notes, because it is a medical software, and you can use this to kind of help you customize your own. And that's what I've done here. So you can see that I have a number of different types of interviews that I can set up, but let's look at the feedback session summary. So this is the prompt that I'm giving the AI. We have I want it to, when I'm doing a feedback session, I want it to capture our main findings. I want it to capture the diagnostic summary and make sure the diagnosis and what it means is really clear. And then I want it to capture recommendations. So these are really the most important take homes. Now you'll notice that I've asked it to really identify strengths and challenges. I've asked it to use 8th grade level positive language because I found that that's closest to my own voice. I can start a new interview by putting Jane Smith here. Let's see, Jane is 9. She's female, and I'm just going to tell the platform that this is this is a feedback session with Jane's parents to share assessment results. Okay, and then I'm going to create the interview. So you'll see here there is a record button, and when we press record, it's going to record our conversation. And this works on Zoom as well as in person, and it will know that there are multiple people there. And it will call out what I've shared as the clinician and what parents have shared and their concerns when it produces its summary. You also might have noticed that there's an upload button. So if you have a recording from a different device, you can upload it here. And again, this is a HIPAA compliant platform. So it really has the benefit of protecting student data, and I don't have to worry about their story being out there in the world on the internet. Once I'm done, I can press save, and it will create a transcript, and then it will create some notes. Now, these notes are not going to be accurate because it's trying to make sense of a 40-second feedback session, which is not what it exists, but this is what it actually creates. So this is kind of pulled together from, de-identified from multiple students. It's not a real summary, but this is what it might look like. So we have a summary of our feedback session. We have the child's strengths and areas of concern that we shared. Diagnostic summary, this just walks through all the things we considered, including things that we ruled out. And then we have different areas of recommendation. So academic, social emotional, executive functioning, parent support. And I can go through, before I send this to a family to share the notes, I'm going to go through and edit, because AI does get things wrong sometimes. And it's really important that we don't take our clinical eye off the ball. And then I can go ahead and share this, and they have notes from our meeting that just serves as a way to remember what we talked about and the most important take homes. So I hope that's helpful. And then for Notes app, if you want to give Notes app a try, I was able to get a way to, you can play around with it for 3 days as a trial. And then if you throw my email in there, you'll get $5 off a month for the entirety of your subscription. So it's been super helpful for me. I hope it is a helpful tool for you as well. And as always, thank you for everything you're doing to really help families and children understand the kid's amazing brain.